6-6. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Droid Life Show, episode 66 tonight. I'm your host, Kellen. With me, the crew, Tim, Ron, Eric. Everybody say hi real quick.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Tim here.
Hey, this is Ron.
Hey, Eric's back.
Eric is back. We'll have to talk about that later, your backness. So welcome back after a couple weeks. We have a boatload of stuff to go over since we're still kind of on our every other week schedule. Like the massive Moto 360 leak from last week, Moto X rumors, Moto Shamu rumors. The Galaxy Alpha was announced today. We've got Galaxy Note stuff, Galaxy event coming up. Verizon's doing all sorts of stuff to piss everyone off even more than usual. A couple of polls to talk about, maps, games, all that stuff. We'll try to be quick, probably going through some of these topics, but if our pre-show chat about the Motorola 360 is anything, we'll see how much of this stuff we get to. So let's start there, actually, with the Moto 360. So last week, pretty big leak. It was, I can't remember, it was an Italian site. Anyway, the guy goes by Mr. Gadget, and he essentially posted a mini review of the Moto 360. Not sure how he got a hold of one, but he did. And in his review, he said some stuff like it could get 2 to 3 day battery life, which would be awesome. And but the biggest thing we saw was, well, so I should go back. When Tim and I got a hold of the device at Google I/O, Motorola handed us these units, and on the back side of them, they had these sort of stickers that were perfectly placed on the back to cover things up potentially. And they kind of said to us, sorry, we had to, perfectly place these stickers here, and they wouldn't really tell us what was underneath them. So this guy posted a picture without those stickers, and now we know why Motorola was covering that up. Because underneath those stickers is basically a lot of the specs and features of the device. So we now know it's water resistant at an IP67 rating. It's definitely made of stainless steel. We even know the type of steel. It has an optical heart rate sensor, wireless charging, and a pedometer. So some stuff in there that nobody else is doing. We also got a picture of it wirelessly charging in a dock, which looks kind of cool that you could just set it. And I don't know if this is the actual Moto 360 dock that was pictured or if this guy just had like a random cool wireless charging dock, but I think it's probably the one for the device. And you basically just set it down and it starts charging. So you don't have to deal with all the little attachments and contraptions and stuff that a couple of the other watches use. Let's see, what else did he say? He said the display in the sun is awesome. He said it still works better in the sun than like the G3 and Gear Live. Then we just basically got some more pictures of it and stuff. So pretty massive leak, although we still don't know when it's coming or how much it'll cost or any of that stuff. Did you guys take anything away from that leak? Anything excite you or get you down?
I'm just as oh, sorry, I can't even talk. I'm just as, if not more, excited for the device after seeing it. I mean, dude, it's sweet. So it has a few, like the heart rate sensor or heart rate monitor or whatever. I was not expecting that whatsoever. I'm happy that it's water resistant, although I sort of expected it would be, considering that the other two, the Gear Live and the G Watch, are water resistant. So I'm pretty sure Motorola wanted to stick with that. I don't probably Google themselves are trying to like push OEMs to make sure that it's water resistant.
Yeah,
considering
that surprised me a little bit just because of the design and stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But seeing more pictures of it, it just blows my mind. Really can't wait to get one. I know a few people are kind of taken aback by the whole ambient light sensor on the front and how it cuts off the display a little bit. But when we played with it at Google I/O, it looked really good, when you're kind of looking down at it, and depending probably on the watch face, you hardly notice that it's there. So I think it might just be that picture that makes it look real apparent, but I don't find that the cutoff display is a real big deal for me. It's definitely not a deal breaker in my book. Still looks like probably the best smartwatch that's going to be available, hopefully soon, and that's all I got to say.
So Tim's kind of referring to this picture of it charging. This is what we were talking about before the show. This picture of it charging, and the animation kind of goes around the ridge of the device in a circle to sort of show that it's a circle. Except when you get to the part where the sensors are, it's cut off. So there's like a whole portion where you probably can't even see like where it's charging, and it looks sort of odd. And it sort of showcases the fact that there is this sort of black bar towards the bottom, which seems like the only gripe anyone really has about the watch. So like Tim said, him and I don't really like we played with the watch, put it on our wrist. The black bar, we didn't really notice it, but it's definitely one of those things readers have talked a lot about, and it's one of those things a lot of people say they can't unsee. Once you see this sort of black thing, and if you decide that it bothers you, you just keep sort of going back to it. Other than that, I got more excited.
Top?
Go ahead.
Is it going to be on the top of the watch or the bottom of the watch?
It's the bottom.
Bottom.
It's the bottom, yeah.
Because I was thinking if you're wearing it like that and it's across the top, you know, just the way that you're going to be looking at your watch down on your wrist like that, it might lessen the, you know, field of view that it actually blocks.
It's on the
the way that it's set up now in that picture where it's like, you know, you're kind of looking at it straight on and it's at an angle, I think it kind of accentuates it. I don't know. I haven't had one on my wrist, so I can't really say, but I don't think it'll bother me that much. And aren't they allowing people to design the watch faces, you know, crowdsourcing it? So
we're hoping, yeah. And then, you know, there'll be developers that can hopefully make watch faces and stuff, so we'll see.
Yeah, so after a while, if they do open that up to developers, people can, you know, play with that so it goes back away. Hopefully we won't see it as much.
Hopefully it won't be as apparent. It just like for the people that are bothered by that, this picture of it charging just totally
set them off.
It totally accentuates it, yeah.
I guess I don't really care, you know, if it doesn't look good while it's charging. Like I could give it an S. You know, like I mean, come on, it's
right.
Charging. I understand, you know, from a design standpoint, it doesn't look very lovely, but give me an effing break here. It's just
the Galaxy Gear look good, so I mean, this has to look great.
It doesn't look bad if that's what you're referring to. I mean, it's a decent looking, plain looking smartwatch. I mean, it definitely looks better than the Pebble. So, and again, I mean, that's all subjective, man. Like that's just how I feel about it. Or objective. I don't know. Who cares? No. But
I think you're kidding, but I'm not sure.
Yes, I'm kidding. But my point is, it's just sitting on a charger. Like I don't need it to be pretty. From the time we did spend at Google I/O, I'm okay with having the black bar so far. And when we finally get it in hand and all the reviews come back awesome and it's the greatest thing ever, then I want a full apology from you. And we'll be okay again.
Is there any way that the Moto 360 could like be a failure or disappointment?
Besides the fact that their charging ring gets cut off.
Besides the fact that Ron really hates that black bar that gets cut off, that cuts off the charging ring.
Besides the fact that nobody looked at that and said, hey, maybe we should adjust how this is designed.
Maybe they will adjust it, Ron. This could be prototype stuff right here. We don't know that this is like official legit. Come on now.
Let's be honest. Motorola does not have the money or power to be changing things at this point, especially if they're actually releasing it this summer.
That is just so rude.
And basically the whole point of this area is so that the display can auto-adjust brightness, because the other two watches don't have it and they can't do it. Would you guys rather have manual adjustment if it got rid of this black area? Probably.
Just put it on the strap. If the Galaxy Gear Live or whatever the heck they're calling the stupid thing can have a camera in the strap, then they can put the ambient light sensor in the strap.
No, we want.
The strap is a failure.
Yeah, it's a leather. It's a nice, genuine leather band, Ron. We're trying to go for a premium feel, not look like a bunch of geeks.
So now it's premium. We're gonna never mind the fact that having a black bar on the bottom of your round display ruins all the aesthetics, and never mind that moments ago you just talked about how the functionality mattered, which is basically the same thing as saying that you should have been using a Windows mobile phone when the iPhone first came out because it had more functionality.
I don't see the black bar taking away functionality.
Not at all.
It doesn't take away functionality. It reduces aesthetic. It adds functionality at the cost of the aesthetic.
If you use a black watch face all the time, you won't even notice.
There you go. There you go.
You will, because you won't be able to see that second, the 6.
Well, hopefully somebody makes a really long second 6 hand. Sticks up above the black area.
Why do you need to see the 6? I mean, I don't tell time by looking at the actual like numbers. I just look. I recognize the shape of the hands.
Or you could just use a digital clock face.
Sure.
I don't know. I think Ron just likes to overreact. He doesn't want the Moto 360 to do good. He wants Android Wear to fail. What?
I haven't said that. I haven't said it's going to be a failure.
I'm just assuming.
Right, exactly. You're the one assuming.
Ron's just in the crew of people that can't unsee the black bar.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and that's.
I don't care.
Right, and if you were to ask me my opinion about what I actually thought about it, I would say that I think that hands down, this is absolutely the best looking smartwatch we've seen to date.
Yeah.
To date.
Absolutely. It's still flawed. That doesn't mean it's not the best one out right now, though. But I would say that about any product, and we all would. When everybody was kicking and screaming and saying that the Moto X was the best, absolutely best phone last year, we all admitted there were flaws with it. Didn't mean that we didn't still think it was the best.
Wait.
Ron making good points tonight, as usual.
This is sort of related, not. Well, yeah, it's related. So the next iPhone launch is when? September 10th or something?
Or something, yeah. Who knows?
So, is there any chance? I don't keep up. Is there any chance they announce a watch finally? Or is that not really happening? Or are we still...
I don't know. Gruber in the talk show this last week was saying he thinks there's going to be a separate event, and several other... Mark Gurman from 9to5Mac also thinks there's going to be a separate event in October. So most people are thinking a separate October event.
The only reason I say that is because Motorola still hasn't announced when this thing's available. So, if Apple, were to do that in September with the new iPhone, I mean, that would it'll kill whatever Motorola does, even as pretty as the Moto 360 might be. So,
maybe
if they're waiting until October,
then something horrible.
What's that?
So Apple could come out with something horrible. Who knows?
If it's a square, if Apple comes out with a square iWatch, then I think it's DOA anyways.
I don't know. Gruber made an interesting point on the talk show where they were talking about the 360 and how that shape is actually, depending on the size, is bad for text. Because the biggest spot you've got on there is in the middle of the display.
What text do you need? I don't get what you're saying. Like reading a message or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes it difficult to display text and things like that, which is true. I absolutely agree that I think a round face for something that you're using most often as a watch looks a lot better. That's one of the things that I hated the most about the Pebble was that it was squared off. That's on top of the fact that pretty much everybody that I've seen that's been using Android Wear is kind of over it now.
I haven't used the G Watch in since I reviewed it.
Yeah.
I think that's because the devices kind of suck, though.
Yeah,
the G Watch is ugly as hell, and the Gear Live is just not that cool looking. I mean, it's fine.
Right.
It's the best looking.
But I think if the functionality was there, that would maybe make up for it. But I'm seeing plenty of people that are Android enthusiasts not wearing them anymore.
Yeah, I mean...
I think that's only because they don't look very good. I think if they had something that actually looked good on their wrist and they enjoyed wearing, said, ooh, I get so many compliments on this thing, maybe they would wear it a bit more. You're not going to get a compliment wearing a Gear Live or a G Watch.
But I think the other side of that is that their Android Wear is not good enough right now to make you wear it even though your watch is ugly. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm getting at, yeah.
There's nothing dragging people to Android Wear, keeping them on it, even though they have kind of an ugly watch.
Right, because that was the thing with the Droid. When Android 2.0 was out and you had the original Droid, it definitely was uglier than iOS, but it had more functionality than iOS did, so that brought people over.
Right.
Who knows what Apple's going to come out with? If anything, they could come out with nothing. Who knows? Literally nobody knows anything.
It's hanging out with the Apple TV.
Yeah, nobody knows. It could be something that's on par with Android Wear. It could be something worse. It could be something better. Who knows? If it is something better, I don't think anybody has any idea what that is yet, because nobody seems to be able to come up with a smartwatch actual product or concept that makes sense to me, or to anybody else that's actually wearing it, unless you just love getting buzzed with the same notifications that you can't do anything about. We've been talking about this for probably a year, maybe 2 years now. Nobody really knows what to do with that space. Everybody wants to be in it, but nobody knows what to do with it yet. Nobody's quite figured out exactly what that space is good for. I think that's the big thing, and that's going to be the Moto 360's problem too. I think is that even though it is the best looking one, it doesn't necessarily have any functionality that makes me go, oh, I want to spend $250, $350 on it or whatever, and wear that every day.
Well,
Yeah.
I think the Moto 360 has the wireless charging going for it, because I'm still a big fan of my Fitbit, but charging that, finding consistent times to charge that, is difficult. So it's led to me only wearing it, you know, every other day. Like, even though I still enjoy it and still wear it, or still want to wear it, I think the Moto 360 is going to have the benefit of just have like a real watch. Some people take their watch off at night. All you have to do is take it off and put it on that charger. And I think that will probably boost some of the numbers. And I think that might be, well, at least for me, I could see that being why I would stop wearing the Samsung and LG one. But I don't know. That's a pretty weak argument. But
well, that has potential. It's not that much more of a change though than plugging something in. I don't think either. So and nothing's more terrible than having a dead smartwatch on your wrist. You look like an idiot. Like every time my Pebble died, I felt terrible. I took it off. I'd rather show my bad watch tan than have a dead watch face on my wrist.
I think what the Moto 360 has going for it is its looks, and then that's hopefully enough to at least get tech geeks and stuff, and maybe even some non-tech geeks to buy it just because it looks good, and then hopefully Android Wear gets better over time so that you actually find yourself that you can't live without it, and then hopefully the battery lasts more than a day and some other things. But
right. Well, and I think that's the thing. Like, I honestly think it would have been like Android Wear has been out for how long
now? 2 months, month and a half.
2 months.
Not quite two, yeah.
Okay. Like in that time, you would think that we would see something like development-wise, and we haven't really seen that much in terms of apps and things like that. Like, no. I think Google would have been better off waiting and said, hey, we need to have one killer feature that really sets Android Wear apart that makes you go, oh, wow, I need to have that. And like there really isn't anything on Android Wear that makes you go, oh, I need that.
Yeah. I mean, they thought it would be Google Now, I think, but unless you're like traveling and moving around the city and stuff, like it doesn't really, I don't know.
No, Google Now. And
like you mentioned earlier, getting a buzz on your wrist every 5 minutes is actually not that fun.
No, it's actually annoying at some point.
It's actually annoying, yes.
Yeah, that's why I ended up wearing. The only time I started using notifications on my Pebble again was when I was in New York and it was freezing outside, so I didn't want to pull my hand out of my pocket every single time.
Right.
Like that was literally the only time. Then I turned them right back off, and then I bought a regular, normal adult watch. Like, it's just like if you're just using it, like it's great as a timepiece, but for anything else, like nobody's figured out exactly what it's good for yet. If you have a killer feature that makes you go, oh, I really need to have that to either augment or improve my smartphone, you know, how I use that or whatever, then that's great. But I don't think nobody's even come up with an idea that makes me go, oh, somebody should do that. Like, I haven't seen anything that remotely makes me go, yeah, I want to have something that's smart that I have to charge on my wrist.
Yeah, I mean, part of our job is to write up Android Wear stuff as it shows up, and I don't know that we've written anything about it in a while because the stuff coming out for it is so unimportant and doesn't do anything
then again,
for the platform.
I would say that most of the Android developers that make pretty good apps or would call themselves Android enthusiasts and are probably waiting for the Moto 360 a lot, like a lot of us are.
That could be, yeah.
It's possible, but if you're really excited about possibly making money on a new platform, you're going to.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Then you should have got in early. So, yeah. So we got a big leak. We still don't know much. I would imagine this thing's going to be here in September. I don't think we know when yet, which kind of leads into the next topic. We're moving out of 360, if you guys don't mind. So sources of ours, multiple sources have told us that Moto X should arrive on Verizon around September 25th. And we feel pretty confident about that date. And so I would imagine if the new Moto X is coming then, the 360's got to be coming around then too, if not slightly before. So 360 could be here within a month, I guess. But yeah, so new Moto X, I don't know that anyone has a confirmation on the name, but we're hearing Verizon September 25th. It could be at other carriers before then. We're hoping, Motorola announces it before then so we know more about it and things like that. We did get a benchmark for it, a device that could potentially be it. Shows like a Snapdragon 801 processor, 2 gig of RAM, things like that. I would imagine the device is not going to have like a quad HD display and things like that. It'll be like the Moto X last year, It'll still have good specs, but they're not top of the line. Just hopefully Motorola sells it ridiculously cheap instead of what they did last year, where they tried for the first like month or whatever to sell it for $199 on contract and no one bought it and things like that. So yeah, so new Moto products should be here in September, I think. What's the last day of summer? 9/22 or something like that. And I think they said late summer, so they're running out of time. And the 25th is actually outside of that date, so hopefully they sell it on AT&T before that. Hopefully AT&T doesn't get it. I don't think we've talked about this at all. Hopefully AT&T doesn't get an exclusive on Moto Maker for the new Moto X again. Yeah. Remember how annoying that was?
It'll be like, stupid again.
Wasn't it like a 3-month exclusive? It was like, because the phone came out, I think, in August, end of August.
You couldn't have it until November, I don't think.
Yeah, it was November. So everyone that wanted the Moto X had to wait until November so they could create a custom one if they didn't want the white or black one because they wanted it on like Verizon. What a terrible idea that was. Hopefully they don't do that this year. That's all I can say. Let's see. Oh, so today we got a benchmark for the Moto Shamu, which is apparently the next Nexus device, which was initially rumored to be a 5.9-inch oversized gigantic whale, except we had benchmark show up. I don't know if you guys saw this, but so the benchmark listed, so when you benchmark a device, a name gets put in, right? And whoever put this name in put it as Motorola Shamu, parentheses, Google Nexus 6, question mark. So I don't know if that's somebody that works for GFX Bench that edited the name to that, or if the person running the benchmark randomly didn't know what device they were. Like, I don't know how that even makes sense. We kind of called this benchmark BS, but it says that the device has a 5.2-inch display. It's Quad HD, Snapdragon 805, 3 gig of RAM, 32 gig of storage, and a 12 megapixel camera. Depending on which benchmark you're looking at, it could be a 13 megapixel. It's kind of all over the board, but 5.2-inch does not say 5.9-inch, and also doesn't hint at the code name of Shamu, which is a whale. So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Think there's anything to believe about that whatsoever?
No.
I don't think so either.
It just sounds too good to be true, at least in terms of a Motorola Nexus device. A QHD display is the last thing I'm expecting to see in a Nexus device, at least for another year or two or something. I just don't see Google wanting to adopt a QHD display like that. We already know Nexus devices are kind of crappy in terms of battery life sometimes. So throwing in a QHD, and I don't know, there's no battery mentioned here, but
no.
I don't know. I'm just not digging this. I saw someone say that maybe this was a new Droid, but I don't think that. I don't think a new Droid is going to come with QHD display either. So, but I could be wrong.
Do we have any idea how the Droids have sold on Verizon?
I don't know that. I don't know that we've heard.
I wonder if they're going to keep doing that.
I would guess we're going to get 2 new Droids. We'll get, so rather than the 3, right, where we had the 2 devices that were the same and one had a bigger battery, I think this year they're going to trim it down. So we'll get probably another Max kind of like device, and then we'll get another Mini, is my guess. At least I've kind of heard some rumblings about a couple of, at least 2 that are probably Droids. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do the 3. I think Verizon still sells Droid devices. Like, I think people come in and go, I want the new Droid. And I would imagine that the Max sold fairly well just because it had that crazy battery life. So.
Do you think people still, I don't know. I think people walk in and say, I want a Galaxy.
Yeah, I think people do, yeah. But
or maybe a 1, maybe.
Maybe they shop around and like look at the phones that they have on display. Maybe like wouldn't that be crazy if people didn't just come in and said, "I want the one I saw on TV." Like they could always shop.
I just don't hear people talking about Droids anymore at all. Like most people are calling it Android now. Like unless they're like really old. Like everybody's like I don't think anybody's calling Android phones Droids anymore.
I think you might be surprised.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure they're still out there, like I said. But I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think
Is
people
Droid
definitely
still a
go
brand that people care
they want
about?
an Android phone. They probably ask for the new Galaxy.
Yeah, everyone always says, "Oh, I've got the new Galaxy."
I
I'm
hear
like,
Galaxy
which
a
one?
lot.
The
Yeah.
3, the 4, the 5? They're like, "Oh, the
Yeah.
4," and I'm like, "Oh, there's already a new one." It's not even
Most of the time, people I talk to have no idea which number they
I
have.
know.
They just know
It's
they got a
really
Galaxy.
Just have a Galaxy.
disappointing.
I've
So,
actually
and the
heard a lot of
Galaxy.
people-
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick that the Galaxy form factor has become kind of the icon for Android software as well. Like if you see an app, it'll show like an iPhone and then a Galaxy.
Yes,
Yeah.
it sucks.
You're absolutely right.
It sucks.
Damn it.
Ugly phones.
Damn.
I've actually heard a lot of people can identify the HTC One by
Mhm.
name, and I guess that's just because it's that simple. You know, it's just 3 letters.
Yeah, but do they
But,
say M8? Do they say
No. But I
They-
have to-
I don't know.
they'll say one though, and I think it is like it's a distinctive design too. I think that's the like.
Yeah.
It's just it looks cool.
And then they buy a Galaxy.
and then they buy the Galaxy.
Right after they say that looks cool. I'm gonna go, where are the
That's
Galaxies?
really cool.
I'll take
Oh,
5
it's
Galaxies,
heavy and
please.
slippery though. Why does it have 2 cameras? I don't know. Says the carrier guy. Buy a Galaxy. Okay. Home button. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know if people are buying Droids. I think they are. I think they were buying the Max. I would imagine people actually bought that phone. Other than that, I don't know. And yeah, I don't know if people walk in and say that anymore, but I would guess there's going to be another version of that this year.
Yeah, the only Droid I saw, I think the last like Droid phone I've seen in public was the Droid Razor Mini.
Yeah, that was.
Think about that.
Well, and I mean, I can't tell you the last time I actually saw a Droid phone in public, but
That's what I'm saying. Like
I think Verizon liked that brand still. I think they
What
still
was the,
feel like it could survive.
What was the Razr Max called, or the Droid Max when it came out on AT&T? What was the naming there?
the Atrix.
No, like the new one, like the last one that they released with the big battery.
I don't think they had one on AT&T.
Mhm.
I think the last 2 Motorola devices, well, they had the Moto X, but they had otherwise it was Atrix and then Atrix HD.
Oh, that's what the Atrix XD. My grandpa has one of those, and that's the only time I ever get to see like a Motorola phone in the wild, not a Moto X.
That was an interesting phone.
Yeah,
I think I actually
so-
reviewed that randomly. Yeah, that was a couple years ago. That phone's old now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, Droids. I think that Verizon won't let that die for a while. Even if no one buys it. It's kind of silly that, Motorola pushes the Moto X as its flagship and then Verizon is like, no, Droid. Get these Droids. It's just too many devices still.
Yeah.
Too easy to market for 'em.
We
Just
talked
something-
about it a long time ago, but there's just so many devices still.
It's dropped quite a bit though. I mean, when you walk into a Verizon store, there's not as much.
Yeah, you
as
don't
used
have
to
like
be.
3 HTC devices, and then like 4 Droids,
Right.
and then Samsung doing their own thing, and then a couple of iPhones, and then actually I was
Random
told that,
BlackBerry.
yeah, I was gonna say BlackBerry, but somebody told me the other day that I can't remember the date, but that Verizon was no longer going to carry BlackBerries in store. You had to order them online only.
It's online only, yeah. It was a few months ago, I think.
Was it a few months ago? Okay.
Yeah. You might see a Windows phone, maybe like one.
See, and I've completely forgotten that even exists. I know that's terrible, but they're so irrelevant. Like, at least BlackBerry makes headlines for just saying dumb things because their CEO spouts off or something at, like, little tiny companies like Blackphone. Like, the BlackBerry controversy is the funniest thing. Like, Blackphone's like, thanks for, putting our name in the headlines, BlackBerry. Yeah, Windows Phone, I don't even know what's going on there anymore. I saw they got Swarm today, the app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And it doesn't look like a Windows Phone app, which is great.
Oh, really? It actually just looks like normal Swarm.
It just looks like a nice app.
God, Windows Phone sucks. All right, we can move out all this Motorola stuff. There was lots of Motorola stuff going on, which is usually a big deal, but most of this is just so up in the air, we don't really know where to go with it. But today, big news, the Galaxy Alpha was announced. And it's metal, at least the frame is metal. The back is still a removable, flimsy piece of plastic that's textured, though. This is the new design standard for Samsung going forward, apparently, according to the press release. And the specs basically show a device with a 720p display, 2 gig of RAM, a really tiny battery, 12 megapixels.
720p?
Yeah, it's 720p.
Ooh.
Yeah. 32 gig of storage, no SD card slot, which is a first for Samsung in a while. I actually reached out to their PR and said, "What's the deal? Why isn't there one? I need a quote." And they said, like, "Yeah, we'll get right back to you," and they won't get back to me now. So I don't know if I touched on something there they don't really want to talk about. Anyway, so no SD card slot. 12 megapixel camera. It does have fingerprint sensor and heart rate monitor. And they ditched USB 3.0, those giant, god-awful charging ports.
Good.
Yeah, and went back to 2.0. And the device is really slim, though. It's 6.7 millimeters. It only weighs 115 grams.
It's definitely slim, but I mean, you can see that it does have a removable backplate. Maybe they just couldn't fit an SD card in there, and they were like, "Crap, we're out of room and we're out of money." Like,
what's the processor on it?
It's an octa-core Exynos.
Octa-core.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an Exynos 5 or what. They didn't list that. Right. They just said octa-core.
So, at my new job, I walked in, and the only other person that has a Android phone is the website builder, and everyone else has iPhones, and it's a Mac-dominated world there. So they always make fun of us for having Android. They always throw jokes. So it was just him and I in the office, and I was like, "Hey, I saw the post on Droid Life that it got announced. I was expecting some big thing from Samsung, but I just heard nothing, and then opened the site, and new phone." So I sent it over to him. I was like, "Hey, you gonna get this? It looks like an iPhone. Maybe they'll stop making fun of us now." And he's like, "So when iPhone created a cheaper phone, they made it out of cheaper materials, and it sold really well. And then when Android makes a better phone, or makes a cheaper phone, they make it out of more expensive materials and less specs." And I was like, "Yes, that's exactly what Android does."
Basically. Yeah, people still go, "Haha, you have an Android phone?" Like, people still do that?
Well,
it's completely off subject, but like, people still do that?
Just like jokes, just little like snide remarks, like.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, people still do that? Like,
I still get comments. Still.
You mean like people with Android phones like go, "Haha, Ron, your iPhone"? Like, people do that? Okay.
Yeah. Have you been on the website?
Okay. Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you're familiar with this little site called Droid Life, but yeah, it still happens.
This is completely unrelated to everything except this potential conversation right here, but I was in Montana a few weeks ago, and I posted up a picture, and Ron comments on this picture and goes, "I really like this picture." And like some random guy shows up in the comments on my personal Instagram and goes, "Yeah, but Ron has an iPhone. Haha." And then like no one else commented, so he came back and wrote again and wrote, "I know, sorry, that's an old joke."
I know. I was embarrassed for him. I'm like, just delete the comment, dude. Just delete it. Nobody knows how to delete comments though, so here's how you do it. Okay, tutorial for everybody, because nobody knows, and it's super annoying because then they like rewrite it again, or like post like, okay, so what you do, you tap on comment, and then you swipe to delete over your comment. Or you can report a comment that way. Turns out, so that's how you do it. So please do that, people, and don't do what this guy did, because then I'll feel sad for you.
Oh. Okay, so apparently people still do that. I don't know, I guess it's kind of surprising me. I just thought that was so old and childish that people didn't necessarily do that anymore, but you're right, Ron. People do it all day to you. So I'd imagine people do it in the real world as well.
Way. Yeah.
And they clearly do it to Eric. I don't know.
Yep.
Eric and the website programmer obviously deserve it, but normal people.
Yeah.
They're sharing Galaxy Alpha links at work and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, who does that? Come on, Eric. You know better than that.
So this Galaxy Alpha,
the
Galaxy Alpha is coming early September. We didn't get any markets announced whatsoever. There was no press event. It was just a press release. It came out at like 1 a.m. last night, and we don't know pricing. So we don't really know anything other than Samsung basically released this phone to say we're using metal now with chamfered edges, and this is our new standard for Galaxy going forward. And that was kind of it. Like, they might sell this in like Korea only or something. We don't even know if it's going to come anywhere else. When they listed the the wireless bands, all they listed was that it's LTE Cat 6. They didn't say any GSM bands or CDMA or anything. So it really is like a phone that, although they created like 6 colors for it, I think. I don't know if we'll ever really see it. I think it's just they're just going to take this and then move it forward probably into new devices. But it seemed like a big announcement, and then you kind of read about it and realized that Samsung doesn't care about it either, other than like, look, hey, metal. We did it! Yay!
That's exactly what they were hoping for. Pound back.
And look, it looks kind of nice. I mean, it looks like an iPhone. I don't think you can deny that. It's got like the like drilled holes for the single speaker. They didn't even put a dual speaker in the damn thing. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Looks kind of nice.
No, but it does.
It looks exactly like an iPhone.
That's the thing. Like, I don't. Why can't anybody design anything different?
They just can't. Like, there's like a hump where the port is on the bottom, and that's kind of the only difference. Well, there's, I guess, on each corner it kind of like does this like whoop, like it kind of goes like out a little bit. Otherwise, it just looks like an iPhone. Although I kind of want to hold one just to see what it feels like. A Samsung phone that doesn't feel like cheap plastic.
Yes.
Which is like I guess that's an improvement, but it's just like why bother though?
Yeah,
What's the point?
Yeah, why knock down all the other specs?
And why copy a 2-year-old design?
Yeah, I don't know. And why do it on a phone with mid-range sort of specs that only deserves a press release? Like, if you're going to change your design language and style and standard and everything, why do you do that in a press release?
Who said they did that? Did they say they were doing that? I thought it was just for this phone. They didn't say they were...
No, the press release says setting a new standard
design
for Samsung Galaxy design.
I don't think this is a big deal. I think it's just a crappy phone.
This is
the company that held a press release for the Continuum.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
I think we're
conference there.
But it says like it says Samsung today unveiled its new design approach. So like this is clearly where they're going in the future is metal and different textures and stuff. But I don't know. Just all they got was the press release. I mean, I guess it is. It's not a high-end phone. They just are like, look, we created this little phone for the hell of it, and it's metal, and look to see what we have next, kind of thing, maybe.
That's what I think.
Yeah. Did you look at the silver one though? I actually thought it looked kind of nice. I wish they would have put that color in other phones.
I want that white one.
Oh, the white one.
Although it's 720p, crap battery. Like there's
tiny.
no, I'm not touching this thing.
Under
I might
2,000
touch it just
milliamp hour
to
battery.
feel it,
Yeah.
but no. This is not a daily driver for me.
Just a touch.
And it's TouchWiz.
I know. I mean, that's like the big killer, right? It looks like a nice little phone, and you go, I'd give it a run for a little bit, and then you go, TouchWiz. Is it worth dealing with TouchWiz?
I mean, maybe it won't lag on this one.
It will.
It probably will.
It doesn't have as high resolution of a display to drive, though. I wonder if that...
That's true. That is true, but I don't know that it matters. Samsung phones have lagged for years, no matter what the resolution.
If they would have specified which octa-core that was, then maybe we could know a bit more about how it will perform driving only a 720p display with 2 gigs of RAM, but it could be like last year's jank model. Like, gosh. I don't trust Samsung to release a phone that performs well.
How many gigs does the S5 have?
Gig? Oh, 2.
2.
It's got 2 gigs of RAM and still lags. Like,
yeah.
Well, that phone's crap. Like,
I know, but it's just like you've got 2 gigs of RAM. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know what they're doing. Their software team sucks. Look at TouchWiz. It is so ugly. Look, it got improved a lot in the last version. It's
sure, but like dressing up a turd, it's still a turd.
Yeah, it's still a turd.
We're not saying it's not a turd. We agree. It is a turd.
Tim and Ron agreed on something?
We've always agreed that Samsung's or TouchWiz is garbage. I think. So.
I actually like the look of this phone. I'm not gonna lie.
It looks cool, but it's crap, dude.
The trap.
Trust me, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm never gonna buy one.
You just like it because it looks like an iPhone that runs Android.
Probably.
I think that's why it's cool.
Down inside.
It looks like an old iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm just flipping through the pictures. I like the space gray one. Wait, the space gray, the iPhone?
Yep. It looks like a Xiaomi phone is what it looks like.
I just want an iPhone. That's all right. So that was announced.
Just get a Xiaomi phone. It looks exactly like it, and the software is way closer.
Xiaomi. Yeah. Somebody who Pocket Now got a Xiaomi Mi 4 the other day.
Man,
I kind of want one just for like 5 minutes. I don't think they have Google services, do they?
No.
Yeah. So never mind. I'll just.
That's the problem.
Just sideload it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, that's true. You can't always just sideload everything. All right, so Galaxy Alpha, that's official. Can't buy it. Who knows if you ever will. And that leads us into the Galaxy Note 4, which is pictured, well, a couple of things. So first, Samsung actually announced an event for September 3rd, and the invite said Note on it, basically. We know the new Note's coming. I believe that's the week of IFA, which is when they always announce new Galaxy Note phones. So September 3rd, Tim will be there in New York. They're actually doing like a triple event. They're doing the global event in Berlin at IFA, also one in Beijing, and then in New York. And so Tim and Dave will be on hand for that.
Galaxy Note 4 exclusive right here in my hand. Oh, I'm just kidding, it's the S5.
So sneaky. So the phone, at least allegedly, got pictured. And it also looks metal.
And chaffered. I wasn't even paying attention when you pronounced it. I was like, I wonder how you pronounce that word.
Is that what you said?
I think it's
Chamfered?
Chamfered.
Pretty sure it's chamfered.
Unless you're in an Apple video, that's chamfered.
Chamfered. Okay, just making sure.
No one ever used the word chamfered, by the way, until Apple chamfered something out bezel.
That's exactly right.
And then everyone's like, chamfered! I don't even know if that's the correct use of the word chamfer, but...
Just chamfer all the edges.
Chamfer it all. So Galaxy Note 4 photographed. So pictures were GSM Arena. 5.7-inch Quad HD display, chamfered all of everything, and a back that looks kind of faux leathery, but not quite as cheesy maybe as last year's. And lots of squareness going on. Everything's square. Definitely an S Pen. USB 3, that giant USB 3.0 port that only Samsung uses. But metal. So I asked Tim earlier today. I said, "How heavy do you think this phone's going to be if it's got a metal frame and a 5.7-inch display?"
Probably pretty heavy.
It's going to be heavy.
Has to be. I will say the front, looks pretty good. We're talking minimal bezel going on here. The top bezel looks real thin.
And those edges, no bezel at all.
Yeah, no bezel at all. Although, the bottom with the home button and the recent apps and the back button, man, come on, just let it go, Samsung. Just let it go.
If you're going to use a physical home button, I'd rather they just keep the menu button. I don't know why that is. I
actually completely agree with that. I never use recent apps button for some reason because I find that it lags out every phone that I use, especially on the G3. Like, it stutters. I'm like, well, I'm never touching that button again.
Speaking of the G3's recent tasks, it's so terrible. You'll be in an app, get out of it, and you'll hit the recent task to go back into the app you were just in, and it's not there. Like, it just doesn't register that you were just in an app.
You're absolutely right.
And so the only reason I noticed that is, so I picked up the Jawbone Up thingy. I don't know. Another stupid fitness band to test. Actually, I like this one a lot. I'll probably write it up. But its app isn't supported on the G3. So I had to sideload it. Yeah, not supported. So it's super laggy and terrible on the G3, and it disconnects all the time. And so I have to go into recent tasks and kill the app and open it back up so it reconnects. And so that's how I noticed the G3's. Yeah, multitasking is really terrible.
I've been finding on the Moto X recently when I go into multitasking, I'll click on the bottom one here. And then it'll open up a completely different app. Like this time it actually worked, but sometimes I'll click on Gmail at the bottom and it'll open up Chrome, which is 7 tasks up. I don't know. I
believe Google has addressed that in Android L because their recent apps thing was really broken, especially dealing with Chrome and things like that. Like if you go from Gmail and click on a link and get into Chrome, it still thinks you're in Gmail, even though it opens up. Yeah. So they've addressed
their whole back button thing has always been screwy with that, which I'm sure is tied in together with where you're going from app to app.
Yeah. So in Android L, they've addressed a lot of that. It's a little bit better, but I know what you mean, Eric, and I think it's that. So hopefully you'll see an update to that soon. Actually, we didn't mention that, but Motorola's unit Sony said that Android L is for sure coming to the Moto X. That's good news.
Nice.
Anyways, back to Note 4. So,
Surprise.
yeah, so September 3rd is Note 4 day.
I want to talk about Note 4 real quick and how it's reported to have this QHD display. So one of Samsung's reps, he's like a PR guy, Philip Byrne, I believe.
Yeah, Phil.
Yeah, Phil. Yeah. He was on Twitter. I think it was either today or yesterday, and he tweeted out that he was looking for apps that support QHD because he was trying out like the other people's QHD phone.
Sure.
And he made it sound like, you know, QHD sucked because there are basically no apps that are made for QHD.
Right.
And you know, with the QHD display coming to Galaxy phones, at least, you know, reportedly, I think it's so silly to start. I felt like he was just trying to start a little flame war, you know, because everyone's like, ooh, QHD, but, you know, Samsung phones are getting QHD.
Yeah, one already has it, the Galaxy S5.
Right, and he's already just kind of talking smack, and I don't appreciate that.
You're calling out Phil Byrne.
Yeah, I'm calling you out, brother.
No,
I don't care. I just thought it was stupid how the way he went about it, you know.
I will say that we need apps to support it, but there's really, one phone that has, you know, Quad HD. I was complaining to you about this the other day, wasn't I, Tim, about wallpapers? Like, I had an icon pack that had some sweet wallpapers in it, and I hit apply on the G3, and it didn't fit. Like, it was cut off on the top and bottom, and it was an icon pack where you couldn't individually download the wallpapers, so it really pissed me off. And so, yeah, I couldn't even use them. It sucked. I should, like, complain to the dev.
Absolutely.
In the Capital One app, if you guys have a Capital One card and use the app, you have to like scroll. Actually, the U.S. Bank app's the same way. You have to like scroll in the app because it just pulls up a web page, I think. And you have to like scroll around because it doesn't show everything on the QHD display. Like it just freaks out and doesn't work properly. Yeah, it's kind of a mess. The G3 definitely struggles to get apps to work properly, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, a lot of the wallpaper apps I've been downloading, yeah, I can just tell, you know, they say full HD resolution, and I'm like, yeah, right. Not for the phone I've got. And so every time I apply a wallpaper, it's just blown out. And just
yeah.
So it sucks. Developers just have to pick a new standard, and that's 2560 by 1440.
That's right. Websites look bad and stuff. If you look at some websites, you can tell they're made for, I don't even know, not even 1080p.
720.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and that happens every single time there's a new
jump in res.
Yeah, like I remember on, what phone was that?
Well, I remember when the iPad got its first, its first Retina, I think, and everyone went, oh my god, the web looks terrible.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing.
That was all the MacBooks, too.
Yeah, when the MacBooks got it, everyone just
all sorts of weird.
Yeah, everything looked really bad.
Yeah. Well, same thing with like the Yoga 2 by Lenovo. If you use that, which runs Windows, tons of applications don't size correctly. That's in Windows. Like you think that would get worked out. But no, still weird issues. So
I hope we don't go above. There's no signs of us going above Quad HD, are there, on phones?
We didn't need to go above 1080p.
No, we didn't. But
you can make a great argument. We didn't need to go above 720.
Well, Apple
we talked about this before. Like we can't keep going up until we have some battery innovation,
which we're never going to get.
Well, not just battery, but I think this is something that I'm working on right now. But
we get a sneak peek of the next Ron article.
Yeah, sneak peek. But there's a problem with like the display. Like Android phones have been bigger than iPhones for a very long time.
But iPhone displays display more stuff.
They display more stuff, yeah, and it's like it drives me crazy. Like especially like even on something like the Moto X, where like I've got these side by side, they're almost the same size, right? Moto X has a slightly larger display, but you go app to app and from Instagram, Path, Tumblr, like major apps, even though the display is larger and higher resolution, I can see more on the iPhone, and that drives me absolutely crazy.
So it's almost like a zoom level, you're saying?
Yeah.
That sounds like a developer problem.
It's absolutely a developer problem because what they're doing is it's partially a developer problem, it's partially a Google problem because Google needs to set standards basically and say, hey, you can have multiple size displays or whatever, but they've got to be one of these. That way, developers have something to shoot for instead of shooting for one of 100 different display sizes. Because then otherwise you have to make your app just be able to move in any display size, and that's not good. That's how you get crappy stuff like in Windows. So you've got to have something to shoot for. That way you can just say, okay, this is the amount of content to display, and then apps like Instagram and stuff like that have to figure out what they want to prioritize. If they want to prioritize the image or comments or whatever else, and then figure out how to display it so that you're actually showing more content. Because that's it's super annoying to have people like this latest Samsung commercial where they're talking about how the next big thing has already been here. We've had giant phones for a while. And it's like, yes, you have, but my tiny iPhone shows more than your giant phone. So it doesn't matter. It's the same thing as having a high resolution, a big 32-inch TV that is the same resolution as my crappy curved tube TV. It doesn't matter. The resolution and how you're displaying the content has to match. Otherwise, you're not showing anything, and it's not superior in any way. You just have a giant phone that shows you less information.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't have an iPhone, so I don't have that to compare to. You know what I mean? If you've only ever had an Android phone, you wouldn't know that.
No, but yeah, having the two side by side, it's I don't if somebody wants to walk into a store and look at apps side by side, if you want to see more content, you should actually get an iPhone, even though it's smaller. You'll see more content.
Even though you have to hold it like this.
I think, yeah, sure. In certain applications and situations, yes, the iPhone does display more content, especially on Instagram is where I noticed it the most.
That's a big one. Yeah.
You posted that picture, and I was like, look how much more crap they get to see. But then again, you got to, monocle it. But say if I'm watching YouTube videos or I'm on Netflix, the benefits of having a larger display are quite apparent.
Right.
But yes, I totally agree that in certain applications, I think developers just need to get their crap together. And this is Instagram we're talking about. This is a $1 billion company.
Yeah, but Instagram still hates Android. You know that.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think their new design is totally just garbage. The flat is really getting to me. I'm just not digging it anymore. So it's boring. But my point is, you got $1 billion. You got bought by Zuck. Least you could do is give me a good looking app, or at least the same app that the iOS folks get. It's garbage.
Yeah. Just learn how to use the giant display in a way that's beneficial for people. Because then there's a tangible difference outside of playing. Video is an obvious one where it's yes, if you want the video to be bigger, get the phone with a giant screen. But in terms of when you're doing things like email, text messaging, things like that, you want to be able to see more of that information. You want to be able to see more of it in context. And so if you've got the big screen but you actually don't see as much, there's no benefit to it. And in fact, there's detriments to it because now you're carrying around this giant phone that's showing you less information and is easier to drop.
I'm getting the iPhone 6. Developers just need to learn how to develop. That's all there is to it.
Learn how to develop, guys. That's what I was saying.
Come on,
I was
guys.
totally going to load it up on this iPod Touch I have, and it says my iOS beta expired. I have to do a restore.
Yeah.
I can't even use the damn thing.
Oh, that's stupid. The beta expired?
They do expire.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I didn't sign back up for it because it's ridiculously expensive and wasn't worth it. So
it's $100.
But is that $100?
Yeah, it's not bad. But that's the thing. I think it's partially a developer problem and it's partially a Google problem because Google just says make whatever size device you want, and that does make it hard for developers. And so their only recourse at that point is just to say, okay, we're only going to support certain devices then, and then you're losing customers. So it's not an easy thing to fix without Google cracking down, which they never do. So.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there's on the G3 if there's a way to adjust zoom, and there's not. When
do you plan on having that posted, Ronald?
I've got it pretty much written up. Just need to get some more screenshots.
Some more screenshots?
Yeah.
So for all transparency, Ron is asking me to take screenshots of all these different applications on various phones. And some of these phones I haven't turned on for a while.
I figured you have to charge them up.
Yeah, I have to charge them, and I have to download all the apps. And yeah, it's ridiculous. So
sorry.
It's a lot of work.
Droid life problems.
DL problems.
Yeah.
Helping Ron problems.
All right, so moving out of Note 4. He's already an hour, and we haven't covered half of this stuff. Right. Samsung Gear VR, which is their virtual reality headset will probably be unveiled along with the Note 4. And Tim, you saw this. So The Verge had a picture of this, Tim. Do you want to talk about this thing?
Yeah, The Verge posted the picture. It sort of looks like Google's Cardboard, except it's made of plastic, it looks like. Typical Samsung, made of plastic. It looks like cardboard. It's got the two little monocle things, although combined, it's like binoculars. I don't know the word. But anyways, and yeah, so you will strap a phone. It was pictured next to a Galaxy S5, so I'm guessing it'll be probably compatible with any phone you want. You just strap it in there and close it up, and it goes on your head, kind of like a night vision goggles or something. So you can don't have to hold it up to your face like Google Cardboard. And that's all we know. I mean, who knows what apps are going to push with it or games or something like that, but as a mobile gamer, I'm looking quite forward to it because, they have their own game controller too, so maybe we could play games on it and just be in the world on some Unreal Engine 4 type stuff.
So I was going to ask you guys all, is anyone, Tim, you sound like you're kind of interested to at least play with something like this.
No,
Eric, you're kind of a gamer guy. Eric, are you interested in this thing at all?
No.
Yeah, but you liked cardboard until it tried to burn your car down.
I like cardboard because it's kind of a novelty thing that I think could be cool. I saw that picture and I immediately thought the Virtual Boy. I'm like, this is just the beauty of cardboard was that it worked with a single piece of cardboard that you just folded up. Samsung was like, all right, we're going to throw a headband and plastic and a controller and they're like, just give it everything. It'll sell, I swear. I don't know. It's just garbage.
Every time you get caught wearing this thing, I'm going to think you're looking at porn. I'm just going to say that. I know you're not playing a game.
That's what I was saying. Oh, I heard the sickest comment on that post, and I was like, dude, you're a freak. I'm not even going to repeat the comment, but it's on the post if people want to see it. But you mentioned porn and a virtual reality headset for your phone and porn. It's ridiculous. The possibilities are endless. But what I was going to say, it was rumored that Oculus, is working with Samsung to either on the hardware or software side of this, and if they are, then we can expect, something somewhat decent, I would hope. So.
I'm reading the comment now, by the way. Okay.
Yeah. He's thick, right?
Hey, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, good for him. He's going to be a busy guy.
He's going to be a busy guy.
But, so yeah, that's Samsung's Gear VR.
Yeah, so that should come out. I mean, I have zero interest in it, but apparently the world thinks there's interest, right? Because Oculus maybe has helped partner with them a little bit on this. I don't know.
Didn't Oculus and Facebook buy Oculus?
Yeah. But there's been talk, I think, of Samsung's VR headset having something to do with Oculus. Maybe they just offered them tips. I don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of weird. So that's coming. Is there anything else coming at that event? Probably 3 more tablets.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to have, the Galaxy Tab SS, Galaxy Tab S7 10.1S.
I don't think they've made a 7.4-inch device yet, so we'll probably get that. And the Tab S 8.6, yeah.
10.6, 13.1, 12.3.
We've got to cover all the inches.
Are we going to get the Tizen watch, the sequel to the Tizen watch already? Because, they just got to pump those out as fast as possible.
Oh, I think that is a rumor, actually, that there's a watch that's going to have it'll hold a SIM card, so it'll be like a standalone. You can buy a data package for it. Samsung. Oh, Samsung.
Yeah, they just throw a lot of things at the wall, hoping stuff sticks, So.
I'd be okay with it if they were forced to hold a press release for everything they release.
Yeah,
that would slow them down. Yeah.
All right, that would save me on trips and stuff, so that'd be kind of cool, I guess.
Yep. So that's happening. Lots of stuff happening in September. It's gonna be a huge month, but it usually is. We usually get a bunch of announcements.
It's gonna be huge. I was tweeting with Marquez Brownlee, MKBH Dizzle, and it's gonna be a huge month. I know. He said it first, and I was like, yeah, I can confirm that it's gonna be a pretty huge month.
Yeah. Samsung's got an event. Apple does. Motorola's got to do something, right?
We're assuming, right? Yeah.
And then I don't know what HTC's up to, if they've just like thrown in the towel, or maybe they'll do something.
No, they're releasing Zoe for everybody to be able to use.
Oh, that's right. They're a software company.
That is them throwing in the towel. They're like, okay, here's our crap software. Take it and we're out. Peace.
You guys wanted this, right? Because everybody's still using Vine.
Yeah,
so you wanted an alternative.
HTC's hanging out with BlackBerry on BBM. They're the only one.
What about that rumored HTC watch? That'll be out sometime soon, right?
Oh, apparently that's not it. They totally denied that, and they said nope,
they're lying.
That wasn't it.
Because I know what it looks like.
Yeah, because they got money to just spend on frivolous designers to just design things that won't exist.
Right.
Come on, HTC.
So HTC Watch is Q4 launch, by the way. I don't know if anyone said that yet.
That just reminded me on the last Robert Downey Jr. commercial they did, where the sticker is still on the phone. He's like just in like some warehouse or something. They're like, hey, real quick, 5 minutes, just do one take.
Yeah.
That was my favorite thing ever. He throws in like a random accent.
Yeah, and he's just like waving it around. And
he's got the skew on the back and like a sticker with his IMEI on there, and he's like, this is awesome because you should buy this. All right, am I done? Like as he's exiting the stage,
he's like trying to walk around.
Go, get me out of here. Where's my iPhone? Yeah, that was a failure. How many executives got fired for that deal? Or quit, departed?
Probably quit.
Yeah.
Moving on.
So, what's that, Jim?
Moving on.
Yeah. So Verizon, we'll try to whip through this. Verizon's done a whole bunch of things in the last week, 2 weeks. Number one. Well, they responded to the FCC over their throttling things. So I believe we had a show where we talked about this, where they basically said, we're now going to throttle 4G LTE customers with unlimited data plans who are in the top 5% of users, which is 4.7 gigabytes and above. And we're only going to throttle them on congested sites. Then the FCC said, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. You're basically penalizing people depending on what their data plan is, and that's not right. And so Verizon responded and said, everyone's doing it, and unlimited data users have no incentive not to hog resources, so we should be able to. And we're only doing this when they're on, high traffic sites, whereas other carriers that are doing this do it for, an entire billing cycle and all this stuff. FCC sort of then kind of responded by asking other carriers for input and stuff. So that's a saga that hasn't ended yet.
I want to comment on that real quick.
Yeah.
As shady as Verizon is being this past couple weeks, like they do have a point that if you're on unlimited, you don't have any incentive not to just use as much data as you want. That like
no, but that's like a terrible excuse. Right?
It is a terrible excuse, but it's still true. And I remember when I moved into my first apartment down in Bloomington, and I didn't have internet for like the first weekend, and I tethered my rooted phone to my laptop and watched Netflix and used about like 10 gigs of data across like 28 hours. Like it was nuts.
Yeah, and I get that. But the thing is, they sold you that unlimited data plan. They at one point said, unlimited data is awesome. We're going to sell you this plan, and you bought it, and you should be able to use unlimited data. There's no, like when you sign up for unlimited data, nothing ever told you don't use Netflix, don't use 20 gig a month. You bought an unlimited data plan. And so now they're saying, well, that's not cool. You can't just use it as you want. Well, why'd you sell it to me like that then? And I know things change and things evolve. I'm just saying that's what their argument is that you have no reason not to just go tear up the network. But I'm sorry, they sold you an unlimited data plan. I don't know. And I know there's, arguments either way, and, people like Ron don't want you killing their network and things like that, and that's fine.
Stay away from my house.
Yeah, stay away from Ron's house. I don't know, it's just, they want us all off of unlimited data plans, and they're making us out to be the enemy, is basically what they were doing there. And I think that's a shitty low ball move by them, but...
Don't say the S word.
Sorry. Apologies, children who are listening.
Hey, kiddies.
Yeah, hey, kiddies.
And angry parents who are now turning this off.
Oh, they turned us off.
Dear Droid Life, don't you know my daughter listens to this show? God.
All right, so there's some other things. Also related to unlimited data, they closed a loophole Well, they're closing it as of August 24th. And it essentially is a loophole that some of us were using to transfer upgrades around. So basically what they're doing is if you have an older like feature phone line or something like that, and you steal that feature phone's upgrade and then move your phone over to your unlimited line, if you use the upgrade on that feature phone line, they're forcing that line to now keep a data package for 2 years. And so anyone that was taking advantage of that loophole is now pissed because now they have to lock in a $30 per month data package. So they're closing that. Doesn't affect anybody else that has other data packages on other lines and they're swapping around upgrades. It's basically only for those of us that were really cheating the system by using a feature phone. Like I seriously have a feature phone line open on Verizon with like an old Samsung flip phone. I don't even know what the phone is. And if I need an upgrade, I just kind of steal it from there. And so they closed that loophole. And people are pissed about that. And I don't think you can really be pissed. It was a loophole, and we were exploiting the hell out of it. Like, it probably shouldn't have been there to begin with. I don't know any other carrier that lets you transfer around upgrades and stuff, do they?
No. I'm pretty sure you can. I mean, you can only steal an upgrade, I think, on other carriers.
Okay. I mean, I don't have multiple lines in other carriers, so I'm not that familiar with it. But so people are mad, and
you can't be mad at a company fixing what they didn't fix before.
Yeah, right. I mean, they never wanted you to swap around and cancel data plans and trick the system.
Yeah, they didn't think that their customers were going to be smart enough to do that type of thing. They're like, what the hell?
Well, no, I think it just comes down to if you want to do this, you pay for the device up front.
Yeah, I mean, they're taking away options for keeping unlimited data, and they basically told us like 2 years ago, if you want unlimited data because we're no longer offering it, you have to buy phones at full price. And then we figured out, all these loopholes, and now they're like, yeah, we let you get away with that for a couple of years. We're taking those away now.
And honestly, if they just killed off all the other loopholes and just left it at that, buy the thing full, and then didn't throttle people, like, I think that's the right way to go about it.
Yeah, but they're doing everything. And I love anytime we get sent information from within the company, like all the options are, if you want to avoid this, sign up for a more everything plan. It's like, this crap. Whatever.
That's the best thing you do.
There can't be that many unlimited plans out there still. Maybe there are. I don't underestimate it.
Well, but obviously they're enough to where they're hurting big enough networks. I mean, that's where when they're hurting major networks, then it matters. It doesn't matter if there's only 3 people there if they're all using like tons of data.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they blow
clearly for us
it's
changing.
Dude.
What's that?
I think they blow that out of proportion. Like, users are the ones that are causing the problems.
Well, I mean, Verizon's network was good on LTE. We all experienced it, and now it's not. The only thing that's changed, those towers aren't that old. The only thing that's changed is how many people are on the network, and how many people are using it.
I think Verizon just wants more
Blame
money.
the unlimited data users.
Yeah.
It's always their fault. What drives me nuts about this whole thing, and I talked about this in I don't know how many posts, but like if there's a guy that has a more everything like 10 gig plan, and he's using like 8 to 9 gig a month or something like that, he's tethering, he's doing whatever he wants, which is above the 4.7 gigabyte top 5% they use. It doesn't matter because he's on a more everything plan. Like they just are like, yeah, even though you're a top user and you're just hammering the network, we don't care because you have a specific plan. But that unlimited guy over here that's barely using over 5, we're gonna hammer him every time he gets on a congested cell site, and that's what I think is so terrible about it. Like they really are discriminating between your plan, even if somebody over there is using more data than you, and that's a crappy move on their part. And that's them just saying you have unlimited data and we don't want you to have that. And that sucks.
Yeah.
Totes.
But from a company standpoint, if your options are spend a ton of money to maybe help your infrastructure, it may or may not. Who knows? I mean, this is honestly like having this many people on a cell network. Like this is a brand new thing. There's not like a historical precedent for how you're supposed to handle this kind of network traffic. Like it's a new thing. Like if your options are either try to get people on tiered plans so that they try to use less data, or try to beef up your network and hope that helps. Like,
yeah,
I would be pushing people onto those plans. Like, that's more likely to help out. And you're gonna have to do both, right?
Yeah.
But if you can help alleviate the problem in the meantime by doing that, from Verizon's perspective, I think they're trying to go about it as best they can.
Yeah, I just think they do it in some pretty terrible, shady ways, way too often. Like the FCC said to them, this better not be, an economic move. This better be because it's you have an engineering problem and you need to fix the load on your network. And they didn't really say either way. They just said everyone else is doing it.
Because if it is an engineering problem, that communicates that they don't have the most reliable network.
Right.
So they can't say that.
Right.
So but the reality is it's probably both. They want more money and fine, you're a company. You're supposed to make money. That's your job. And that's your job to your shareholders. Fine. But
they have to live up to rules for their LTE spectrum that they signed into when they bought them, and then that's what the FCC's getting at.
Nobody's enforced that though. For the FCC to all of a sudden say something no FCC, go home. You're drunk.
Yeah, they've danced.
You should have done this a long time ago. Yeah,
they've danced around it for years. So nothing's going to happen with this. Verizon's going to do it. Everyone else does it, and they'll just eventually force everyone off unlimited data, unless people actually do buy phones at full price, which no one does. So.
Well, some people do.
Some people do. It's not enough, though, or Verizon wouldn't probably give you.
And I think, if I was Verizon, I would just say, look, we're not gonna what's the word? When you're slowing somebody's bandwidth, what is that word?
Throttle. Or network optimization.
Right. We're not going to optimize your network if you buy a device full price. If you're gonna go about this the right way, then we'll give you free reign on the network. I think that would be fair. Then everybody's playing by the rules, and that's great. You don't have to worry about it. And because that is the thing, it's a tricky balance, but obviously it's people using LTE on the network that they're worried about, but they're not supposed to stop that. So it's hard. Yeah.
So what else did they do? LTE only phones, maybe not coming till the first part of 2016. Their CFO Fran Shamo said that this week, which is kind of surprising because their chief network officer, I believe she is, Nikki Palmer.
The blonde?
No, I don't think it's her. She said, like a year ago, expect them when we launch VO LTE, which is coming at the end of this year. So a whole another year out seems pretty far out. Maybe he was wrong. I'm not sure. So LTE only phones.
And then they remembered that the CDMA radios in the phones are what are allowing them to keep such a tight.
Right. Like, we need to hold on to this, yeah. Because, once LTE only phones come out with Verizon, there's potentially you could buy phones that are LTE only unlocked and just connect them to Verizon's network. They can't turn you down. But it's a CDMA, yeah. So we'll see how that plays out.
Nicola Palmer. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, VP and CTO. Okay.
CTO, that's what she is, yeah. Let's see. The other thing, we don't really have to touch on this, but they think we're fools because we don't want to upgrade on 2-year contracts and get discounted phones. That was on Facebook. I had a field day talking about that.
Why do people hate discounted phones? I completely agree with Verizon on this one. People are stupid if they don't want to save money and be stuck on a contract.
Look, there's no way to win. We could talk about this for hours.
And we have
Verizon's a bunch of they're not nice people for saying that you're an idiot, basically, for not wanting a discounted phone and signing a contract. But in the end, there's no real way to save money. Not
on Verizon.
Not a Verizon, no. Well, they're trying to with their Edge plan because they give you this really minor discount, but it's not enough to make up for it. So Verizon, you're always going to lose. Even if you're buying phones at full price, you're losing because you're still paying this extra fee basically for your monthly.
Right. The subsidy is built in even after you've paid the subsidy.
Yeah, so you can't win at Verizon. T-Mobile's about your best bet.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of them just screw you. And so there's no way to win. But I thought it was a pretty low comment from them to be like, you're all idiots. You don't want discounts. No, we just don't want to sign contracts with you that last for multiple years. But anyways, so that happened.
Well, it's not about. I don't think anybody has a problem with the contract. I think people have a problem with paying a subsidy after you've paid off the contract.
Well, I think you should have a problem with both. Contracts just in general are not really a great thing. If you could avoid signing a contract, wouldn't you? If you had an option that said I could get a discounted phone and not sign a contract.
Yeah, but it's a moot point because I can't take it to any other carrier.
Yeah, I'm just saying contracts in general, locking down, being stuck somewhere, potential ETFs. I don't know. I just think the idea of cell phone contracts.
That's an exchange for a lower priced phone.
Right. Which
like that's the
still
which is
paying for.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like if I paid off my subsidy and then it's gone, like it is on T-Mobile, then I'd be totally okay with the contract. That's not a bit, then you pay it off and you're done.
Yeah, because then you're actually getting some sort of a deal. But Verizon's screwing you.
Because with Verizon, you're not only paying for your service, but you're still paying off a phone that you've already paid off.
They've already paid off.
Yeah, and there's no way to avoid that at all.
Yeah, it's a terrible deal. The wireless industry sucks. I mean, T-Mobile has actually changed it. As much as people want to talk about T-Mobile just moving around where the money's going, with device payment plans, they actually have changed some stuff. And they actually have done some things that are better. Whether their network sucks or not, they actually have changed some stuff, and Verizon and AT&T have reacted to them in actually semi-decent ways. So.
Yeah, and the reality is if T-Mobile's got good service in areas that matters to you, you should switch to them. You'll probably save some money.
Yep.
And you'll definitely be able to upgrade faster for cheaper.
Yep. Pretty much. All right, so we're at an hour and 20 minutes. What else do you guys want to talk about? And then we can wrap up. I don't want to. We could go for like 2 hours with all the stuff we have. So
I don't want to talk about Sprint.
Okay, well, quickly, Sprint's not buying T-Mobile, and they have a new CEO. Dan Hesse's gone. The new CEO owns a soccer team and is owning another soccer team and is really rich and doesn't even need a job, but he's going to run Sprint.
Turns out CEO is rich already.
Yeah, he's worth like $2 billion or $1 billion. Sorry, not two. He's worth $980 million. But once his company is bought by SoftBank, he'll be worth more than like $1 billion. But yeah, he's gonna run Sprint. What a good guy. I wonder what his salary will be.
God, I hope it's huge.
Because Dan Hesse walked away with like a $40 million severance or something. It was crazy, and he was terrible. I mean, he didn't have much to work with, but like, for the company.
They need to invest that money into the network, I think. But that's just me. I think
Dan Hesse's going to invest it in some things that are probably not Sprint.
Oh, he's going to buy some type of team. Probably
he's buying an island next to Larry Page.
Oh, there you go. Larry Page or Eric Schmidt, maybe.
Maybe Eric Schmidt too.
Yeah, Larry works. Yeah, he goes to campus. Let's see here.
Let's see. Google Now for Enterprise could happen someday. Maybe that's not really that big of a deal. All right, I'm curious. Do you guys, with your group of friends, do you text message them more often, or do you use like an instant messaging app? Because our readers send lots of text messages. I personally don't send like any at all.
Yeah.
I have like a couple of friends that like I don't know if they actually know what Gmail is, so I text them. Everyone else I've kind of gotten on Hangouts. But like, what do you guys do the majority of? Is it an instant messaging app or is it texting?
I try and convert. Like I've converted all of my family to Hangouts, but a few of my friends are still texting. So I just, have it rerouted to Hangouts. So it's kind of like I'm having a hangout. But and they have iPhones, so they're like they don't want to download an app just to be able to talk to me through Hangouts because they don't care that much about me.
Right.
So, but yeah, most people I try and get on Hangouts because then I'm like I try and say, hey, I'm on Wi-Fi all day. I can like talk to you super quick if you're on Hangouts. So, texting.
Ron, text or messaging.
So I use iMessage with anybody that has an iPhone.
Yeah.
And then I use the people that I talk to the most that have Android phones. We use Hangouts.
Okay.
So there's a handful of people like I'm not going to try and talk my dad into using Hangouts or anything else like that. But
me and Ron use Hangouts together.
We do.
Hangouts is good sometimes. Eric, texting.
I'm kind of in the same boat as Tim. I got most of my family and coworkers and stuff on Hangouts, but for some reason people don't want to. Although I know a lot of people that have iPhones, so they don't want to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, all those haters at work. Just hating on Eric. Hating on the new guy.
Damn.
They use Apple products, like everything, and then they use Google Apps to run.
Of course.
Pretty much the whole business.
Of course, because they're cheap.
So kind of like Google.
Yeah. Basically Google, yeah.
Kind of like Droid Life.
Yay. Okay, so even quicker. Friends and family own iPhones or Android phones? Majority. Mine mostly are Android phones. My sister-in-law owns an iPhone.
I think the majority would be Android for mine.
Yeah.
I think the majority is Android for mine too.
Yeah.
Majority is iPhone for me, I think. But it's pretty close. No,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's pretty close for me too.
I think everyone just asks me what phone they should get, and since
That's
I
funny.
never
Yeah.
recommend an iPhone except for my mom, who just don't talk to me, lady, just get an iPhone. Like I don't want to help you with your tech problems.
Yeah.
She can use an iPhone. She could be Apple's problem. Everyone else, I say, get like the newest Android device, which is fine.
Right.
So they all got Galaxies probably.
With my friends, it's pretty mixed. It's pretty even. And then with my wife's side of the family, all iPhone. And then my side of the family, all Android.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Nice.
like most of the when they ask me to, they're like, I'm so like if they buy an iPhone, they like apologize, and I'm just like, it's fine, like it's a good phone, like don't be sorry about it. Yeah, mostly Android though. All right, do you want to talk 2 apps real quick, and then we'll wrap, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I was going to just point out that Tap Path. Chris Lacey, the dude that made Link Bubble Tweet Lanes, created Tap Path. It's an interesting idea for an app. Basically, when you're in any sort of third-party app that has a link, an external link, and you click on it, you can tell this app to register between 1, 2, or 3 taps, and that will either open up specific apps or a share window and things like that. So, like if you tap on a link once, you could have it open Chrome. If you tap twice, it could open like Push Bullet or like Trello or share with something else, and then tap 3 times or something, and you could open like a whole share window, so you could then choose an app. It's kind of an interesting idea. I tried to use it for a little bit yesterday, and I struggled to get it to work properly, and it wouldn't register taps correctly and things like that for me. I don't know if other people are having good luck with it. It's like $1, so if you want to test it, give it a run for the 15 minutes or whatever you get, see if you like it. But I don't know, interesting idea. The guy does some interesting ideas. I just haven't had that much luck with some of his apps. So.
Pretty sure the refund window got pushed up to like 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah,
Potentially.
It's kind of a hit or miss, isn't it?
Don't take a chance on it, but there is the potential that your window's larger.
Well, I think if you download a big game that's like 2 gig or something,
yeah, they allow.
Like
I think
2 hours.
Maybe the developer can.
I think Google just has like another algorithm.
Damn algorithms.
Yeah. All right. Do you have a game real quick, or something?
Yeah. I have one. It's called Freaking Math. This one is actually pretty interesting. It's free to download. I'm pretty sure. I believe so. Yeah. That's one thing. So when I've already downloaded an app or paid for it, I can't see again if it's like costs money. So when I come back to talk about it, I'm like, did that thing cost money? I'm pretty sure it did not, because it has ads in it, I think. So, anyways, sorry, off topic. Freaking Math. So it displays super easy math problems like 1 + 3, 3 + 4, and it shows the answer, but you have to decide whether the answer is right or wrong. Sometimes it will display the wrong answer. So you have only a moment to establish the problem in your mind and then decide whether it's right or wrong. I think my high is 13, I want to say now. It was like 6 when I first downloaded, but I've been practicing, and I got up to 13. I may be the world champion right now, I don't know. But 13 seems really high considering how little time you have. So yeah, Freaking Math. Freaking Math, not frickin', but the apostrophe, but Freaking Math. Definitely go try it out if you like being frustrated. And for some reason, I've been trying to find more addictive, frustrating games lately. I feel like that's like the trend, though. The trend is going towards these super easy games that are just like Flappy Bird, where you can just pick them up and die a million times. Whatever. Right. I want a little bit more effort, but that's fine. That's just me. So, Freaking Math. I'll put a link to it in the chat.
And if you guys were looking for an LG update that we usually do, I got nothing. They had a couple press releases and nothing mattered. I'm disappointed by that. Lenovo, on the other hand, announced 23% increase in profits due to smartphone sales.
Nice.
Go Lenovo. Go Motorola.
Go Moto Novo.
Go.
So before we wrap, though, Eric's with us, but Eric's accepted a full-time gig outside of Droid Life for those still listening, and he'll still join us from time to time, so you don't need to say completely goodbye to him, but
au revoir.
You may not see him writing quite as often on the website, but he'll still be around from time to time. So
yeah, you're not getting rid of me that easily. Oh,
Do you want to tell us about your new job real quick? Or?
Oh, yeah. So I'm the new copywriter and content strategist for a marketing firm in downtown Indy, and it's a pretty nice job. I'm excited. Really like the people that we get to work with, and I walked in and they all they use Google Hangouts, they use Google Apps, and then the week before I got there, they started using LastPass as well. So It was like I just walked in at a very interesting time. Very busy though as well. So am I missing something here as far as the apps that's been added? Okay.
No, I was trying to draw, but it errored out on me.
I think we're all gonna miss you, Eric.
We're gonna miss
although,
you.
yeah, you're not gone forever, so that's good.
Yeah.
How long has it been? You've been with Droid Life for like 2.5
years? It would have been 3 years in August.
God, that's a long time.
That's a long time.
Wait, it is August. Yeah.
It is August. We've existed for a long time.
Yeah, and I just met you guys for the first time in person like a couple months ago, and now I'm peacing out. It was like I didn't like you guys enough. So
Howdy 5,000.
Pretty weak move.
Yeah. But then Kellen still gets to message me when Paul George goes down and tells me how bad the Pacers are going to be. So.
Oh, that's an instant message for sure. I mean, not an IM, but an instant message. Yeah. All right, well, cool. Well, yeah, good luck with the new gig. Thought we should share since you've been around for a while. Part of the Deal family.
Yeah.
Always part of the Deal family.
A pretty nice tweet from a fan the other day. It was pretty awesome. So shout outs if you're listening. I can't remember your name. It's like Brian something.
Someone in the chat says Twitch and DL will miss you.
Yeah.
Keep those after Twitch parties going, yeah.
What's his name? On Twitter.
Well, any other things you guys want to throw out there?
I think that's it.
All right, so we'll probably take next week off again, but then everything's going to get crazy. So we'll probably be, once we hit our next show, which will be 2 weeks from now, we'll probably be back on every week just because there's going to be a lot going on. We got September hitting and events everywhere. So probably take next week off. Then we'll be back to you every single week, more than likely. So anyways, thanks for joining us. Deal Show episode 66. Tim's devilish episode. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back in a couple weeks. Peace.
Peace.